All right, welcome back to the Coffee Chat podcast, where all we really want to do is just help out local businesses. Just want to lend a hand for those who really need it. And I know right now, for a lot of businesses, times are really hard. Just starting a business is hard. Just talking with our guests here about it. When we started the shop, there's a lot of complication. Things come up, and then when we have these situations happening around the world, it gets even harder. So we just want to be of support, and I hope you guys are being helped by these podcasts. We're already on the 4th podcast, and today I'm excited for the person we have because, man, we go way back before Colado started. This person, he started off as a paper boy in New Mexico, which I didn't know. He works with Holiday Inn Hotels. He's worked with them before. Honeywell. He's worked with airlines, businesses, churches. He went to Arizona State University for global business. He collaborates with business owners and leaders to have world-class service. Everybody, let's welcome Elaman Rodriguez to the podcast. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Like I said, today we're going to be talking about customer service, which is something that the class that you gave us before we opened the shop. We were just talking about it as well. And you came in there and you were just talking about you have a little page. That's all you taught us. And that was enough because you taught us customer service. It was about whenever you give a customer a card, the credit card or cash, give it to their hands, look in their eyes. I remember telling one of our employees, when you make sure you have eye contact, but she had too much eye contact, and they got a little jealous because she was staring for too long. Don't stare too long. Right. But little tips that you helped us clean the window every hour, things that I will not forget, which we need to work on a little bit more. But little things that you came in. But before we keep on going, I'm already getting ahead of ourselves. Right. What is your go-to drink at Colados?
My number one drink, it's a caramel latte. Caramel latte because I love caramel, I love vanilla, but I love the sweet part of it. But caramel latte. But I will tell you this, Aaron.
Exactly.
My go-to item here is the deep fried ice cream.
That's what I was about to say.
I drive 30 to 40 minutes from my home to here for a deep fried ice cream. Nice. And if it wasn't for the calories, I would do it every day. We need to bring down the calories then so you can come more often. All right. No, yes, that's your go-to drink thing to get up the shop, and every time it comes, that's where we get them. But why have you dedicated your whole life? Have you always, wanted to do customer service? Tell us a little bit about yourself for those who don't know you. Sure. Thank you very much, Aaron. First of all, thank you for having this podcast. Thank you for having that desire to help people, because I think that it comes from your heart. A little bit about me. I was born and raised in a little town called Demi, New Mexico. We're in New Mexico, 30 miles north of the Mexico border. I was born and raised there, went to high school there. My mom still lives there. Sister and my 2 brothers still live there. As a matter of fact, I just spent the last week there. It's a great, great place to be born and to grow up. Then in 1982, I graduated from high school. I hit the road to Phoenix. I had a little car, and my mom kept telling me, why are you taking this? Why are you taking that? And I'm telling you the true story. 1982 in June, coming up in I don't know how many ever years it's been, 38 years. I got here to Phoenix, Arizona with a dream, with a desire. I came here to study architectural design at a school back then. It's called Phoenix Institute of Technology. And I've been here really ever since. Now, why customer service? Why customer experience? As a little kid, I remember going with my grandma to the Soriana in Chihuahua, Mexico. I walked in as a little kid, and I was fascinated with about 10, 20, 30 different cash registers. And was it like a restaurant? Or No, it was like a big Walmart. Okay. It's called the Soriana. And I was just fascinated with merchandise, fascinated with people, fascinated with the cash registers, just fascinated with business as it was. Now, what brings me to today? I feel that I've done customer service, customer experience really all of my life, because I think that some people are just born with those aptitudes, those abilities. I remember about 20 years ago, I was driving down the streets back and forth, which is something that I love to do. Even 30 years later, I do it here in Phoenix all the time. Watching planes. Here's the thing. I would see businesses that are closed. It's a closed, going out of business, gone, that type of thing. And here's the thing, is that, it's still to this day, my heart bleeds and I cry when a business closes. Because when a business closes, people's livelihoods are gone, people's life savings are gone, Many times there's a divorce. Many times it's even a fatal situation. So I got to think, what can I do? What do I have within my power, within my ability to help businesses survive, to help businesses prosper, to help businesses get better? And I was working at Bethany Bible Church, and then I got laid off when the crisis hit about 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And when I left there, I thought, what am I good at? What do people compliment me on? And I think that's when you take a product or you take a service and you make it better. Mm-hmm. And that's what I feel that I did at Bethany Bible Church, and that's what people applauded me on. So the day that I got laid off, I went and I spent a lot of time in downtown Phoenix, and I kept thinking, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then I took the next about 2 to 3 months off, and I would just sit at home and I would just write and write and write forever and ever. Read, listen, learn. And I came up with 5 steps on how to improve your customer experience. So that's in a nutshell my story, and here I live it morning, noon, and night.
Yes, you do.
It's my passion. I think about it when I wake up. I think about it when I'm in the shower, when I'm asleep, when I'm driving down the road. Is how can we help people get better? And that's in a nutshell. I think that especially in today's crisis, not only with the coronavirus happening, but with all the racial inequality happening right now, how can we help each other get better? Which takes us to really the foundation of this podcast.
Yeah, and you can hear it. I mean, if people are watching or listening to it, you can hear the passion every time you say something. You're super passionate about what you do. If I can define you in one word, it would be excellence. Because you don't just talk about customer service, you live it. Every time you're here, your shirt's always nice and clean, nice and tight. You're always looking sharp, and that's what I like about who you are. You don't just talk about having good. So when you go to restaurants, what do you see? What's the first thing that you're always like picky, or is it I know your wife might is she the same way as you, Gina, or
she's not. My lovely wife, and for her, because when we got married, and actually what I'll say this is that we got married 15 years ago in a week from tomorrow. It's going to be 15 years. No, she was not business related, none of this stuff. So now she thrives on it to a degree, even though it's my bread and butter, my passion. But what do I see? I think that I come in and I have that eye to see what's working, what's not working, people's attitudes. Do they have a passion for being there? I'm big into logistics. Is it happening? Is it working? That type of thing. So I don't know. I blame it on my mom and dad to a degree. I blame it on my creator, but I was just born with it like that. So
nice. So when you go to a business and let's say they're starting off, like kind of like how we did when we met, what are the first, the 3 things that you would say they need to have that customer service?
Sure. Okay. Here's the thing: is that I believe that it's all falls on your mission, on a couple of things: your mission, vision, values, and your culture. As a business owner, you define it. You define why you opened, where you're headed, what's your culture going to be like, what are your values. Talking about values, you have to be the same person at work, at home, and in the community. The same person. So once you define those things, it's your mission, vision, and values basically define your culture. Once you define your culture, then you go from there.
So a mission and vision is something that you want to be, or somebody that you already are?
I think that your mission is, why are you here? What is your passion? Your passion is coffee. Your passion is crepes. That's to a degree your mission. And I know that we can elaborate from there. But your vision is that where do you want to go from here? Where do you see yourself, not today, but a year from now, 5 years from now? Your vision is where you're headed. And your culture is what you feel, what you sense, what people can walk in and touch. So that's it.
Okay, good. Because a lot of times it's hard to really find that mission statement. Is it something that I want to be, or is it something that I already am? So it's like how you said that it's the leader that has to really create the culture. Because if you don't create culture, it's going to create itself, and maybe it's not going to be the thing that you want. So I think that's very important for customer service. And guys, heads up for those who are listening, it's going to be a long podcast. It's not going to be the usual, because I was telling Elaman, we have a lot of material to cut with. We've known each other for a while, so it's going to be good. And we might need a part 2. Just a heads up.
I'm all for it. Thank you very much.
And if you're listening,
we'll just need another call.
Yes, we'll bring it. We'll keep it coming. Bring another round. If you're listening, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, comment below. Let us know if you have any questions so we can keep on answering. So the next thing I want to ask you is, how do you train customer service?
Okay, here's the thing: is it
like for everybody? Some people it's just not for them, or
I think that the way you train customer service is this, and to a degree we've talked about it, is you define it. What is it and what is it not? What do you want your colados to be like? Clean, friendly, quick, efficient. That which goes back to your mission, vision, and values. So once you define what you want, I tell people, if I could, I'll mention a couple businesses here. In-N-Out. In-N-Out Burger. I don't go there because it's a little skinny meat. I go there because it's clean, it's quick.
I thought you wanted more meat.
Now, if I want more meat,
4x4.
Is it okay if I mention a couple places?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a place on 16th Avenue just south of Thomas. It's called the Burger Works.
Okay.
Delicious
Need to go try
burgers. They're thick burgers, mesquite cooked right there in front of you.
Nice.
But going back to the culture, going back to In-N-Out, it's clean, it's quick, the employees are friendly, all of that. So you have to define what you want. From there, you have to hire what I call, you hire based on attitude. If you hire based on people's attitude,
you just help somebody out right there.
Yes. Now you can train them for their skill.
Wow.
Because if I hire somebody that's pleasant, that's calm, that's loving, that wants the best, and we have that rapport, they're easy to train.
That's good.
So I can train them for their skill. But the next step from there is I show them what I want. And that's what I talked about a number of businesses, which I know that you know that when I give my workshops, I talk about you guys all the time. But I show them what I want. I show them what customer service looks like, what customer experience is. And then I give them expectations. The expectations are based on your company policy, procedures, process and procedures. So that's where people will know this is what I need to do. From there, it's what I call the onboard, the training. And the training, you do it visually, audio, physically, verbally, and logistically. Here's the thing, is that a man upstairs made us different. Every one of us is different. So you have to train people in whatever suits best for them.
And that's exactly what you do. When you come in, man, you bring demonstrations, you have PowerPoints, you have examples. I mean, if you don't get it, it's because you don't want to.
Which goes back to the attitude.
Yes.
Okay.
Attitude takes you to altitude, right?
Yes.
It determines how high you go.
Yeah, definitely. So, and then the last thing is how to train for customer service is what I call affirmation. Once you define it, you hire, you show them, you give the expectations, you do the onboarding, is you affirm it by reassuring the people what they're doing correct and how we can make adjustments and keep moving forward. But affirmation, it's emotional and it's physical support.
That's good. So, and I mean, you guys need to take notes down on this one because it's a lot of good information. And I don't know if you guys can, if you're not listening, it's okay if I bring this up?
Yes.
He has notes for this podcast. That is admirable, man. Like you're prepared and you literally preach and you practice what you say. So
thank you.
That's good. Another question that comes up to me thinking about this, because we here at Colados we try to do what you've taught us. Have good customer service and train our. We have videos that we've created as well in the shop that took us a long time to do, but it was worth it. And it's all about culture, how you treat your employees and your customers. But to you, what do you think comes first? Kind of like this chicken or the egg question. Is it first? Should it be the employees or should it be the customers?
Here's my thing. Is that they're both identical twins.
They're twins?
They're identical twins. Because as a business owner, you cannot live without the employee and you cannot live without the customer. They are both identical. Now, if you had to say they're identical twins, without a doubt, which one was born first, I'm going to tell you that it's the employee. Because if you train the employee, the way we just defined it here, if you train the employee like that, the employee will forever take care of the customer. If the customer feels cared for, they will forever take care of the employee. And the employee takes care of you. I've been doing this for a little while. And even still to this day, it's a simple process. Yeah. But it is very difficult to do. So I see it morning and night, where I can walk in and the employee will bend over backwards. They'll lay on the ground for the owner and for the employee. And then you see other times where the mix isn't there. In those cases, I think we need to split apart and start all over again.
And I think it goes a lot back to something that we've been instilling in our leaders is talking about servant leadership. Mm-hmm. How, in corporate or traditional, it's, the CEO is on top, and usually the employees and the customers are on the bottom. Forget about them. Yeah. But when you flip the triangle or the pyramid, it's customers and then the employees, and then they'll take care of whoever's under there. So I think it talks a lot about servant, and that servant leadership. It starts from the top. Yes. from the leader. Is he willing to invest in customer service, or is it something that's not really important? Because for some, especially I think in our culture, Latinos, or here's your food, and I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them can get in that habit of just there you go, and if you want to come back, the food's good. So what do you say to those people?
Yeah, it goes to a little bit. And I forget how you describe it, but you say that you serve good food fast.
We don't serve fast food. We serve fresh food as fast as we can.
I think that many times what happens is that we get so busy and so fast and so much in a hurry that we're just a delivery person. We go from the kitchen to the table and we're gone. And here's the thing is that I want to feel that some of the people are like me. I go out to eat for three things really. One is the food. Uh-huh. The other one, it has to agree with the price.
Okay.
And then the other one is the environment.
Okay? So if you have those three things, you're set.
You're set. But they all have to do with the culture, with your mission, vision, and values in your culture. We go to a place that if you are okay with me mentioning that, Casa Corazon. Mm-hmm. Casa Corazon, I walk in and I don't want to leave.
Wow.
And I don't know if you guys have been there.
Yeah,
but
it's good.
The food is good.
Yeah.
The service is exceptional. And the whole environment, it's very, very nice.
Yeah, and so, I like how you call it world-class service. Yes. You really prepare, when you come into a business, which, if you guys are interested, we'll have the information after, but you really turn the tables in rooms where you're like, all right, this is what we got to do. This is the best thing you can do. And, that's something that a lot of businesses can really benefit from. But what happens when you do the best you can and you get sometimes those bad apples and you get customers who are going to yell at you? How do you deal with those complaints? Because sometimes I even have, we're like, we tried everything we can. We did our best, yet, the customer still wasn't happy. How do you teach your employees to deal with that?
Yeah, I would say that here's my thing, is that you have to acknowledge the customer. Acknowledge them, and to be honest with you, I say that you have to appreciate them for them telling you. Because if there's a complaint, the customer has the option to either just walk out the door and never come back. And if that happens, we all lose.
Wow.
But if the customer has the time and energy and the desire to come up and talk to you and tell you this plate went wrong, this beverage is wrong, he's actually doing you a favor.
Wow.
He's actually, in my mind, he is telling you, I care about you, I care about your employees, and I want you to succeed. I want you to succeed so bad that I'm telling you the issue, and if you're willing to listen to me and correct it, we're going to be best buds forever. So what's the best thing to do is acknowledge the person. Thank you for your time. Thank you for bringing this up to my attention. I want to listen. Listen to the person actively and then correct the situation. Because many times, we don't know that there's a problem until somebody brings it up.
Yeah.
Once we know that there's a problem, now it's up to us, to the leadership, to correct it. You correct it, and you're down the road.
And that's how you turn a complaint into a compliment,
yes,
right? And sometimes we see a lot of people who are maybe a little picky, or they're always, trying to say, we need to fix this. And they're usually the ones that come back the most, because if you pay attention, if you fix those things, all we really want is attention. And reading in a book, I heard all what people really want to hear is you apologize or say sorry, and most of them will feel ridiculous for even complaining about that. So sometimes it's just having that compassion with those complaints, with those people, that will really help you get on the other side and convert that, like we said, that complaint into a compliment. So are you saying that customer is always right?
No.
No?
The customer is not always right, and the employee is not always right, and neither is the owner. So I think it goes back to the same thing. Given the three things, the customer, the employee, and the owner. If we are wise enough to realize that we're not always right, and we're willing to listen, we're willing to acknowledge, and we're willing to change, the world is in your hands. Because we're as picky as I am, and as hard-nosed as I can be with a lot of stuff, I know I'm not perfect, and I don't want to be perfect. I thrive on excellence, and I want all of us to achieve excellence. But I think that we're not always right. But I think that goes back to something that you mentioned. Even in today's society, right now, around the world, what people want is attention. What people want is to be heard, and what people need, because we're born with this, is love.
Yep.
So
yeah, we all do need, and we all love attention, and it's one of the things that you taught us when you walk in a room. Always have a warm welcome, and always have a farewell or something that you can just say, when they leave, goodbye, and that's a lot of things. A lot of people compliment us on that, on the customer service, and people really enjoy it when you said, good product and having good prices and the environment. I mean, you're pretty much on a good road ahead. Now, what do you see in the future as customers, as we're evolving? Technology. Now, a lot of things are doing online or through the phone. How do you have good customer service through, without having somebody present?
Yeah. To be honest with you, it goes back to the same thing. It goes back to giving people attention. Even though over the last 3 months, the whole world has changed. And it's unfortunately good or bad, it's never going to be the same. But the people's needs have not changed. Mm-hmm. People want to be heard. People want to be loved on. People want to have attention displayed upon them. So even if we're dealing with technology, let me give you, if I may, give you a couple quick examples. Mm-hmm. Through especially through texting, we've gotten to the point where it's sometimes we even just use one letter.
Exactly. Emoji.
Yeah. Yes, a thumbs up, a smile, or something. And what we want to know is, yes, it's okay, I'll meet you at 1 o'clock. Yes, you know what, I did get this. So it's those 3 or 4 words, but it goes almost back to what we were talking about. We're in too big of a rush. We're in too big of a hurry.
We need to slow down.
We need to slow things down. Yeah, I think that if we slow things down, even through technology, I was going to use that as an example, which I don't mind it. I forget the family, the owner of the chicken place.
Chick-fil-A?
Chick-fil-A. I went to an event one time where the owner, he stood up and he took out 2 things from his pockets. He took out a phone and a Bible. And he says, the Bible never changes. As long as we stick to these values, we're good. This here helps us advance and helps us get better. But I think that if we use our technology with a human touch, we're going to be that much further ahead. I think that you can still do curbside.
Yeah. You
can still do delivery. Something that I got on a kick on over the last couple of weeks, especially with the coronavirus thing, I've been collecting a few bags at home. Okay, like the delivery bags.
Okay.
And you either have a brown bag, which is plain, or you have a couple that give you a smile, they give you a thank you, they give you a couple of different things. So even when you hand that person that bag and they take it home and they see that joyous thing, look at what you guys do with the water bottles. Mm-hmm. When you guys opened up here. Yeah. You guys use a couple little terms or little sayings in there. It's just a bottle of water. Mm-hmm. But if you put some meaning behind it, some feeling
put that human touch in there.
Yes, and that's what, at the end of the day, it's a human touch that's going to win you over and over.
And that's so simple, like, do this whole, just doing curbside due to the coronavirus. We were thinking about, like write things, notes on the bags, make it personal. Yes. And some girl was like, one of our employees was like, why don't we just stamp them? Just put a stamp. And I'm like, we can, but we lose that connection. Yes. It's so simple, just writing something. But once maybe somebody needs it. Maybe somebody's going through a hard time and, they're depressed. And that's why, our mission is to make your day. We want to turn those moments into something positive. So it's that simple. But you started in the beginning talking about your love for aviation or airplanes. Where does that come from? I'm curious to know, because you'll drive hours, right? Just hours, because we've talked about this before. Yeah. Where does that come from?
You know what? I think it goes back to a couple of different things.
Did you want to be a pilot?
You know what? I didn't want to be a pilot when I was growing up, but my glasses, I thought, I couldn't, because going back, I'm going to be 55, 56, something like that. So if you go back 20, 30 years ago, you couldn't be a pilot with glasses.
Really?
So what I thought about being is getting into air traffic control. And I took a lot of classes. Went up. I was living in El Paso, Texas. I'd go up to the control tower up there, and I would just sit up there. But then I realized, you know what? If I'm in a control tower, I don't want to be surrounded right there. I want to get out there. And then that's when, true story, I saw an article in the newspaper where American West Airlines was hiring flight attendants. I applied, I got hired, and I worked for American West Airlines for, 7, 8, 9 years traveling, really literally traveling all the U.S., but a little bit of the world, which almost goes back to the why I'm here. Is when you're a flight attendant, you're a servant. Which
a lot of people don't like that word, huh?
The flight attendant?
No, the servant part.
The servant. Which now let's go back a little bit. If you open a business, you better be a servant.
Wow.
And you better be a servant coming from the heart.
And that's when my goal since I was a little kid, I was like, I don't want to work for anybody. I don't want to have a boss. And so far, I was like, okay. And then we started the business, and now everybody's my boss. Everybody's telling me what to do. We need to get this. We need to order this. I'm like, oh, well, now everybody, so, it's so true. We must become servants.
You have to be. Going back to a little bit about this podcast is primarily, but for anybody, but primarily for business owners. And I do hear this often, like you said. You say, I want to have my own business because I don't want to have a boss. Well, let me tell you what, if I'm employed, I'm going to have probably a manager, a director, a supervisor, and a boss, that type of thing. When you are self-employed or you have a business, everybody's your boss. Your employees, your customers, everybody is your boss. Try not showing up to work one day and see what happens.
They'll fire you.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. I think when you come with that mentality of to serve, it's a lot easier to correct. It's a lot easier to, get along with other people and build that culture of, belonging with each other. And, that's the start of customer service. So, we can go on and on. I think we're going to need another part 2 for sure. But man, Elaman, thank you for your time here. Do you have any closing comments that you want to add?
Sure. I think that first of all, thank you to you, to Aaron, for being so creative, of not only with the podcast, but the whole Reina family.
He has a podcast coming soon. Hopefully. we're talking about it, but you need to get on the podcast as well. So stay tuned.
I think that, as we were saying before the show, I've created a lot of content, and I think that there's a lot of information there. So who knows? And I'll go back to what we talked about, because I think that fear holds us back. Who wants to listen to me? Who cares about this stuff? But it's that fear that holds us back many times as human beings. But I think that we need to just let it go. And if it doesn't work, we learn from it and get it going again. But I think that in closing, what I'd like to say is that not only thank you to you guys, that's what you guys are doing, but for everybody really is define your mission. Define your mission, vision, values, and you're going to get your culture. But define what you're good at. Define what your passion is. Something that you started to ask me about is not only define your passion professionally, but define your passion personally, because there's more to life than work. In listening to your dad's podcast on the first one, he says it's work and it's family. His passion is family and work, and you have to balance it out. So I think that for business owners, find your passion, find your mission, vision, values to get your culture in your business, but find your passion personally. If you're on this planet by yourself, what would you love to do morning and night? As an example, for me, I love airplanes. I could live at Sky Harbor Airport. I could live down the street at Luke Air Force Base without anything. That's my fuel.
No
that's
food or anything?
Without anything. Okay? The other one is architecture. I love architecture because of the creativity in the people's minds. I come in here and I look at the architecture, I look at the art, I look at the colors, I look at the different things. So architecture is the other one. And the other one is photography. I love photography because I think that you're taking taking photographs at a moment in time, and then you go back years later and you relive it. So again, with everybody, not only find your passion for your work, but find your passion for yourself. So because when you have a passion personally, you get outside of your work, and that's how you refuel. You fuel up with your personal passion, and then you come back to your business and deliver the goods.
And I like what you said before we were recording this. Is like, sometimes we lose that passion as we start. and we forget about why we started, and that's so important to always remember what you're passionate about. Man, Elaman, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I really enjoyed your time here. I hope it was I'm sure it's going to be beneficial for a lot of people listening. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Victor, again for always recording and being here. If you guys ever need a website, if you guys ever need anything that has to do with like marketing or social media, we also have Victor available. Let us know. Elaman, where can they find you if they want to contact you?
Sure. My name, Elaman, it's Elaman Rodriguez. So my website is Elaman1234.com. My email is elaman1234@yahoo, and the name of my business is Elaman1234.com LLC. And here's the thing.
What's up with the 1, 2, 3, 4? Yeah.
People ask about this all the time. Is I said, and I'll open this up to anybody here. If I can find a better name for my business, I'll do it. But right now, it's Elaman1234. I think it goes back a bit.
That's good.
Take me back 10 years ago. I was more focused on my content.
Yeah, that's good.
Than my business name. But
I like it.
If somebody's out there and says, "Hey, I think you should change the name," and to be honest with you, I've thought during the course of this year, how can I get to the end of the year and open it up to people say, "Hey, you know what could I call my
Yeah.
name?"
Well, comment below. Maybe somebody listening could have a good idea about
Yes.
Elaman Rodriguez customer care. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, whatever it is. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There you go. Well, thank you again. If you guys want to contact Elaman for your business, or even you do churches. Anything that has to deal with people. I think you can really benefit them. But thank you guys for listening today. I hope it wasn't too noisy. I listen a lot. When I play it back, I hear people like making crepes in the back. Maybe you guys like it. I don't know. Let me know. Maybe we find a quieter place. But thank you guys again for joining us. We'll see you or listen to us next week. Every Friday we release it. So if you're listening through the podcast, you can also watch on YouTube, and stay tuned for a lot more content. Take care.
Thank you.